Hi, I'm Alex from rgbFilter. I'm here with Cameron Stewart and Ray Fawkes, the creators of the Apocalipstix, which I guess in a brief sentence would be considered apocalyptic Josie and the Pussycats.
More or less.
In a very basic level.
Yeah, that works. Yeah.
And
we like to think of it as Josie and the Pussycats by way of Mad Max.
So, Cameron is the artist and Ray's the writer.
That's right.
And I read a little bit of information about how this project came about. And this was kind of originally something you were thinking of at first?
Well, it was born of me sort of making a short list of things that I wanted to draw. I was working on Catwoman, and I was getting a little burned out, particularly drawing Gotham City, drawing a lot of architecture all the time, and so I was just kind of thinking to myself as a joke, I was like, whatever my next project's going to be, it's going to be set in a desert, just so that I didn't have to draw buildings. And then that actually got me thinking about what kind of things do I want to draw, and I thought, I want to draw cute girls, and I wanted to draw something involving music, because I'm a big music fan. And that's as far as it went. And then I handed it over to Ray, and I said, make something with this. And then the rest was him.
Yeah, it's sort of like, you came with this idea a few years ago, and you did stuff in between it coming to fruition. It's been a sort of pet project for a few years.
It's a labor of love, that's for sure, yeah.
Because I know you guys originally you published something that not through Oni. Was it like the original?
We did a couple of shorts with the characters that we did. The first one was in a self-published anthology that my studio did. It was called Rumble Royale. And then after that, we had a couple of other shorts that appeared in free comic book day books that were put out by the Toronto Comic Arts Festival. And then from those, on the strength of those, Oni Press came to us and actually asked if we'd be interested in publishing a full-length story.
Now, so the characters, did you actually come up with the main characters, or the sort of, I like the Japanese characters, it's the most interesting one. She speaks Japanese, everybody seems to understand what she's saying. But it's never made clear how that is possible. But anyway, were these from your mind as the writer, or did you guys sort of come up with them together?
I sort of took a look at the kind of girls that Cameron liked to draw, and Cameron laid out a couple of designs, and I sort of turned them into the living, breathing girls in the book. We batted them back and forth to make sure we were both happy with where it was going.
Yeah, I remember, I was in my studio and he was in his office, and we were sending a flurry of emails back and forth. How about this? Oh, how about this? And then just kind of building off each other's, ideas.
So, if I was going to be asking a different question, was there any potential character designs that came close to being used, and then you guys at the last minute said?
Not for me. Like for me, I pretty much kind of saw what I wanted to get out of Cameron's stuff and laid it down. In Cameron's designs, there were definitely some outfits and some hairstyles that didn't make the cut.
Yeah, it's been kind of, if you look back at the early drawings of the characters in the first story that we did, they look considerably different now. And it's just been, it's been an evolution over 5 years, and me kind of deciding what I like to draw and what's easier to draw, more efficient to draw, just with the length of the book.
Another question I had was, I could be wrong, but is this the first manga-sized work that you've done?
Yes.
Yes, and that's an interesting thing for me, because most of his drawing is full comic-sized stuff. So working in this format, obviously the layout and the panels is very, very different. And it struck me as something. Did you find that as a challenge, that you're working in such a more restricted space?
Actually, it was exactly the opposite. I was liberated by, because one of the things that I find really difficult when I'm working on monthly 22-page pamphlet comics is that you only have 22 pages. And quite often, the script calls for how I would feel to be, much longer. And so the book was actually originally supposed to be a 22-page issue, kind of 6-issue series, and that's how it was originally written. And in the process of laying out the first issue, I found that I was really struggling to try and compress it all into 22 pages, and I thought, this would be so much more fun if I could just let loose and draw however many pages I wanted. And then I could put in all the story beats that I wanted to put. If I wanted to have a big double-page splash for emphasis, I could without having to worry that it was... So even though the pages are smaller and there's only maybe 2 or 3 panels on each page, I didn't limit the page count. I just drew as many pages as I felt like I needed for the story, and then we, when it was done, and then we would decide what to do.
Do you guys work in a way where you write a really detailed script, or is it more of you give an outline and then you draw something and you go back to it and write some dialogue?
I write a pretty detailed script right from the start, and then because I'm comfortable working with Cameron, we know each other pretty well. Cameron was sort of pacing it out, so I wasn't worrying too much about how many things had to happen on one page. It was more like how many things had to happen in one sequence. Then Cameron put it all together, and then I went back to it and made sure it paced out all right with the dialogue and everything. But from the start, it's pretty detailed.
No, I mean, again, talking about the size format, I noticed that some of the drawing, especially on some of the full-page spreads, is very manga-esque. There's a lot of speed lines and techniques like that. And then you guys were saying originally you weren't looking at this being a manga-sized work. Did the art style and the writing style sort of get tweaked when you knew you were going to be working in this sort of format?
Yeah, for sure.
I would say no.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it was ever a concern like we're going to print it in these dimensions, therefore it has to look like a manga comic.
Yeah.
I like a lot of Japanese art anyway, and it's been an influence in my work for a very long time.
Yeah.
Just kind of invisibly so. It's not necessarily the big eyes and the speed lines, but it's more in pacing and the way that I lay out a page. There's a lot of influence from Japanese comics. And when it came to do this book, I wanted something that was really exciting and really energetic, and quite frankly, nobody knows how to do that in Japanese. And so I was looking at a lot of manga and taking cues from them as to how to make something look really exciting.
It's definitely like a lot of energy. Like everything really pops out of the page.
Right.
It's such a kinetic comic to read. I definitely found the best I read it. Like you're just banging through the material. Yet it's not, so classic. Right. It is a really good job.
Right, thanks very much.
So I just wanted to just wrap it up with what are you guys working on next? You got any more projects you're working on together?
Oh, well, there's volume 2
Volume 2?
of this book, which is written, and Cameron will get started on it as soon as possible.
As soon as I can.
Yeah. And Cameron, you're working on...
I'm doing Sea Guy 2 for Vertigo.
Which is a little bit of a little cool news for me, because one of your most, I would say obscure, but weirdest works.
Certainly one of the strangest things I've ever done. Yeah. But it's been popular, and for the last 5 years I've been asked, when the next volume is coming out, and finally I'm able to say that it will be out next year. So.
And, sorry, I'm also doing a book for Top Shelf Publishing, a horror book, painted by Vince Locke, that will be coming out next year as well. It's called Junction Tree.
You're writing?
I'm writing it. Vince Locke is painting.
Just to finish it off, one interesting sort of tidbit of information for our viewers is that if you know who publishes this book, it's Oni Press, and then you think about the other manga, Toronto-based subject matter that is very well known as Scott Pilgrim, which got picked up for a movie deal. So I know you guys probably can't say anything, but have you heard any rumblings? Because this definitely has filmic. It would be kind of.
It would be. I mean, that's not. It would be nice. I don't think that's either of our ultimate goal.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think Scott Pilgrim is ever thinking that ever happened either.
Right. It would certainly be cool. I think and I'm sure we'd be happy if that happened. But we haven't
heard nothing to report as yet.
Nothing yet. The book's only just newly out, so I don't think anyone's even had a chance to.
Well, I think it has a pretty good buzz. I mean, you got at San Diego. Did you have a lot of people?
We actually sold out of the book in San Diego.
So that's pretty positive.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for taking your time to.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
And good luck. Thanks
a lot.